Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all YouTubers out there, all viewers, all fanatic collectors of numismatic. Either you are in banknotes, coins, or stamps, or any antiques. I'd like to just say welcome. Welcome to my picture video. You know, a little of my own diary, so to say, of my journey, my numismatic journey. So, hi everyone. Well, today is the 18th, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see my vid camera. Yeah, it's today is 18th of August 2024. Well, genetically, this is a week, I would say, the week for the Hungry Ghost Festival. In Asia, specifically like in China, more concerned in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and probably in Japan would be Kyoto. Those who practice Far East Asian tradition, culture, and beliefs, including Vietnamese. It's the month in the Chinese lunar calendar, the seventh month of the full moon cycle is is the Hungry Ghost Festival. Basically, it's saying that the dead come back. It's same thing like what the Latinos or like Mexicans celebrates the festival of the Muerte or something like that, where the relatives of the dead come back to the world of the living. It's the same thing what in Asia do practice. So it's a season where things you're not supposed to do, especially children not supposed to be out. During the night, you shouldn't wear red in dark blood red color, or more like a martyr color. Kind of that is basically blood color or any kind of relation to red. Should be worn outside of the night. If anybody calls you where you're not supposed to, you should reply back, because sometimes a spirit or a ghost entity is calling you. So most of my time I actually spend during the night at this kind of week more at home. Being safe at home. You should be staying at home. That's what we learn from our parents, especially parents that are still holding up to the traditions of this beliefs, including myself. Grew up from that kind of culture, so yeah, tendency we don't go out during this period of time. Well, anything other than offset limits? Well, tendency I don't see the world as anything. Well, the Olympic game just ended last week. Sad to say, boo-hoo, game's over. Now we're moving on to Paralympics. How many people do really watch Paralympic games? Yeah, I would certainly watch the opening and the closing for it. And most of the competition that we have previously won gold through Paralympics will be most exciting games to watch or to continue to watch. Yeah. What is my view on the current Olympic Games compared to the previous games? For me, I believe the game has become a little bit too woke. Now, I'm not blaming the organizers. I'm blaming the critics. The new kind of breed of critics that has a different form of critics and very harsh. Most of them I call them woke people. That's what most American side or those who are Republican lead people who call them wokeness or woke people. I've kind of first time experienced this type of people. let's just say that. Let's just say in the course of walk, it's like a lot of people criticize the French opening of the Olympic Games. The closing was much more subtle. I was quite disappointed in the closing ceremony, actually. Not so fancy. It's quite boring and passe compared to their openings. The opening was grandeur, and being the first time celebrating outside of a stadium, having a opening outside of a stadium is kind of unique. Never happened in history, so it's kind of unique. But sadly, the rain, Mother Nature was ruining it. A lot of the feature, I would say that yeah, it's quite spot on. That the controversy was sparked, like anti-Christians and blah 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 blah. Yeah, men dress as women. We have no problem with that for drags. You know, we have no. I have no complaints about that. But to me, France, the first thing that clicks in my mind is being French, is being, how do I say, in art performances very art nouveau, avant-garde. They are out of this world kind of thing. And to me, being the what they have performed in the opening, I would say represent what is France is all about. It's not saying that they're becoming uh, anti-Christians and so forth, but it's a form of artwork. You know, it's a form of artwork to me. I can't. Some might disagree with that, but that is your opinion, and this is my opinion. You know, I don't believe that the games opening for the Paris is bad. I think it was very entertaining. It is or was entertaining. But being criticized by woke and so forth, it's just another step that I really don't like to agree or disagree in that. It's just making it worse for that. And for future, it creates the environment where in the future, like LA, I think LA has no problem with that. It will be more about American patriotism kind of theme. I would like to see more of that actually. Like, what did you say? Like London opening. London opening was superb. Was the meaning they try to portray, the performance they're trying to portray. I think London hits the mark. Without spending a huge budget. With their arsenal of celebrities and the ability to make a great theater of performance. I think to me, London 2012 was still considered one of my benchmark of the best opening. Telling the story of Mario England, United Kingdom, the story of Industrial Revolution. I think it hits those marks where internationally recognized of the identity of United Kingdom. France, on the other hand, they're trying to make an identity of being free and expressionist country. Be artistically free. I think they do hit the mark, but it's just that the environment probably makes it different, and with the addition from the critics like a woke people, it just degenerated even worse. So it doesn't even bring themselves to the same benchmark like London did. Of course, some people say China 2008 Beijing Olympic was the best of the best. But if you have the capabilities to spend money, you have the communistic manpower to do those traditional communist grandeur theater, such as using the masses to perform synchronizing. I think it's just a great form. It's a form of identifying the country that has transformation through politics, through culture, through economic, I would say, of their abilities. So, Beijing was quite nice, but I prefer London. Talking about budget and utilizing their identity of the country and their arsenal of celebrities, I think London did well compared to Beijing. Tokyo, on the other hand, could become better. Sadly, when the government imposed no attendees, it was a drop on the ballpark. To me, I think Tokyo Olympic Games will all, in 2020, the 2020 or in the bracket 2021, would be forgotten. Now, I booked my tickets to go to a Tokyo Olympics. Sadly, I have to cancel because we are not able to attend the games. The openings were not allowed, and yeah, we're not allowed to attend, and I have to cancel it due to COVID. Not to blame only sole purpose of the Japanese government, but you know, it's the circumstances that we have to live in. Through COVID. So we are looking eyeing on the next game is in LA, Los Angeles in the next 4 years. Of course, in 2 years, the Winter Olympic Games will be happening in Italy. Then the Summer Olympic in 2028 in LA, and then the next Summer Games 2032, which I am actually personally targeting to go for 2032, is Australia, Brisbane. I'm much more comfortable going to Australia because I lived there during my university, my uni time. So I'm pretty much very comfortable in Australia. I love Australia. I love the culture in Australia, the Australians, and yeah. To me, going back to Australia is like my second home, my second place to be in paradise. So probably I'll be targeting to save up some money to some funds, some capital for a good long vacation in the Olympic Games for in Brisbane in 2032. So I hope for that. And of course, the next game is underway for the bidding for 2036. Well, that would be highly. I would hope that Indonesia would get to win and to hold the first Olympic game in Southeast Asia in Indonesia by 2036. That is something I really hope for and I will be very proud of to also probably attend. Yeah. Okay. Other than that, there's not much happening going on in the world, I would say. Other than American politics, it's a bit limbo right now. It's kind of 50-50 now, back to 50-50. If you ask me about last few weeks ago, I would say Donald Trump will win and the world will be going to hell for the next 4 years. America will become radicalized Christendom country, I would say, in such a way. And probably the democracy will be abolished in the United States. That's kind of my fantasy one if Donald Trump wins the election. Now with Kamala Harris, current vice president, soon to be the candidate for presidential candidate for the Democratic Party in this year's general election. Now those polls across the board lead them to 50-50, both sides, especially those very marginal seats. Marginal states, like Georgia, Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan. They become a very marginal seats, and probably now we just plus one more, North Carolina. Probably, we don't know. And for me, if you ask me, as a non-U.S. citizen, I would like Kamala Harris to be the president of the United States, just because the Republican doesn't have good candidate to run. They're having only Donald Trump. If they remove Donald Trump and have somebody else, I guarantee my life and line, Republican will gain back the presidential seat, because you see, it's far too long politics in the United States since 2010, I would say, not 2008, but 2010. The stagnation of progress in amending and creating new laws in the United States have become a kind of limbo or paused moment, because one side is the Senate will not compromise, the House of Representatives will not compromise. When I look at the old days during Clinton or Reagan period, Bush period, at least both houses do compromise, regardless of what political party, to make a law or an act better and pass it through from both houses easily. Now we are looking at it is very difficult because none will actually compromise. The problem of the situation after 2010, none of the houses would compromise. They say, I want it like this, or it's out of the gutter. It's my way or the highway. None of them are negotiating, none of them are able to negotiate, none of them are able to sit down and agree any compromises to move the bill back ahead. To me, since 2010, the United States has very disintegrated into very partition for far right and the far left. Democrats have been moving towards the far left for the good cause of helping Americans by sacrificing the American dreams to pursue being a rich person. So those who are like Bill Gates or people who are like Jeff Bezos, the multi-billionaires, definitely their natural enemies are the far left political spectrum, because they want to tax those billionaires. You take a huge sum of your money from these billionaires and give it directly to the middle class or those who are under poverty. So if you look at quantity in numbers, I think winning support is greatly in a position for the Democrats. But on the other hand, propagandas and using their wealth for turning political will is still very strong, and Republicans are the only saviors for the billionaires, and they prefer to have another billionaire or someone at least who is a millionaire running the presidential position, Donald Trump. And this is how I view outside as non-American. I know this is about America, but in this world, whoever becomes the president of the United States do influence the world. It's not saying is American president is working for America. There's no such thing. Whatever happens in America do reflect overseas. Alright? Do reflect overseas because of its soft power and hard power in a degree across the globe. United States created the Pax Americana. We are living under the Pax Americana situation. So whatever they move economically or so forth do reflect here anywhere in the world. So it's very important the United States voters do need to take account that you're not voting just a president of the United States to govern on their behalf of their country, but also influence the world. Do you want to create a world of peace, or do you want to create a world of war or suffering or misery? The American voters have that responsibility and power position compared to voters from like people are living in Pakistan or Bangladesh. When they're trying to change anything in their country, political will is limited to their country. It doesn't affect other countries across, like their neighbors or the overseas countries like in Europe or in America. It does not affect, no meaning. But America does. Whatever is reflected by the American politics or economic wise does reflect the world. Because of that, many of the other countries, so-called the BRICS, was created. China is trying to create alternative option for other countries. If you don't want to be part of the American situation, then change alternative trading, a global trading tool, to China or India or Russia, creating another sphere of soft power as an option. The world can choose that. Other countries can choose that. Europeans are trying to do that also, creating a Pax Europa of their own sphere of influence. French, on the other hand, has most of their former colonial territory to be part of French influence, and many of them try to exit out from this French influence. So World is running in such a course, and if the America is going such badly, you can see the world is going to reflect very badly. So if you ask me, I prefer for peace and prosperity, for stability. The most important thing is stability. I would prefer Kamala Harris to become the next president, unless there is a next candidate from Republican is much more moderate, much more stable, like Reagan. I'm okay with that. I'll go with the flow with that. I would kind of give another position for Republicans a chance. A moderate Republican is better. A stability government is better than having a radical one. Alright, off topic, that's it. It's already past 20 minutes of non-numismatic related kind of thing for my own diary, and or some viewers already not interested or watching already, fine. Alright, today, again, it's Sunday, so I've actually bought something from the shops that I always go at a flea market. And what I got today is just a humble, very cheap, nothing exciting, is this Libya humble banknote, Libya 5 dinar. This is the back, 5 dinar. If I'm not mistaken, roughly I will understand from my outside of my perspective, my detail. This is a 7 series. Now there's a 7 series A and a 7 series for this design. They are just similar. What are the differences? Because it's the 7A or just 7, as you can see here. And another big difference is the security feature of a silver kind of stamp. This is shines. It does reflect. This is a reflective one. But the one with the 7A series, okay, the one with the 7A series, this one is still exists, but the color is not shine. It doesn't reflect light. It's dull in color. It could say in rough picture, comparing this series and the 7A series is much crude. The rest remain the same. They have a single thread here. They all remain the same in the 7A series. The only difference I would find is this one, and the governor or the treasury's signature is different. Of course, what is the difference between 7 series and 7 series A? Now this is significant. Of course, to me it's very significant because it's a historic moment of the country's event. The 7 series is considered the last series. The last series that is still having a stable government under the Muammar Gaddafi period. Yes, right. Under Muammar Gaddafi period, there's still a stable government. When the 7A series comes out, it's a post-revolutionary period, and it is the after Muammar Gaddafi, or most Western or European countries say is a liberated Libya, where the people are finally liberated from the dictatorship of Muammar Gaddafi. Personally, I would say it created more disaster. Like Iraq, it's the same thing. You eliminate a very powerful, regardless whether he's evil or not, but at least he is a powerful person who governs the country. Removing that person creates a political vacuum. Creating a political vacuum that creates a lot of fragmentation and people trying to seize power. This is what happened in Libya right now, a very unstable position in government. This is what happened in Iraq, unstable between racial, sectarian violence, different sector of religion, like Sunnis and Shia fighting each other in Iraq to seize power in Iraq. Libya is the same thing. 2 different tribes, major tribes fighting each other for to control Tripoli and across the country in Libya. So, as I say, banknotes do also tell a significant point in history. One of the good examples like this. That's why I bought it. It's nothing fancy. Condition-wise, it's quite worn, quite used. There's multiple folds, I could say, but the fold does not show so striking. So it's still in a very good condition. I would just say it's very fine. I would say it's very fine condition. Color-wise, still bright, so shines. Pieces missing? No, but they start to have like wear and tear, as you can see in the corners. As you can see, there you go. You can see the wear and tears like this. It's foxing a bit here. Look at. But the rest, the detail, the silver lining, they're all still there. The color did not fade. There's no missing piece. There's no significant major tears. So yeah, everything looks very good. And the back still looks good. And I don't know whether you can see it, but if you can see the lining, there's for the UV. When you put under the UV light, this will glow 5 dinar, and the bang, I think this is written the bang or something like that. But yeah, everything is still in hunky dory. I would say in this condition, if you are collecting with a limited budget, if you're collecting try to collect banknotes with a limited budget you have in your hand, or limited capital to spend on your hobby, something like this is a great significant way to collect. You collect something that is cheap, low denomination, but in a very good condition, enough condition. It's not always that you want numismatic to say. They always say something like this, that I kind of disagree. To pursue a great hobby like collecting banknotes, like numismatic banknotes collection, always look for good quality condition for your collection. No doubt is true. If you have the option, the capability in your option to get a banknote in your hand, you always try to pursue something better. The better the quality, the more rare it is, and and how do I say, the more return in investment if you keep it, because the value goes up much more greater in if it's uncirculated or extremely fine condition. Sometimes collectors, I would say, also humbly would say myself also, we have limited budget. We can't pursue everything we buy in great condition. Sometimes, like even this banknote, it's very difficult for me to find a uncirculated banknote. I found this just today. The banknote the dealer that I know of, just got this probably just last week, just few days back. Before that, prior to this, a few months, doesn't have this in stock. And to me, the condition is quite very fine. It's not that bad. You can't get this note in anywhere in Malaysia, I would say. Even you have, are they willing to sell? And they know that there are not many are being sold in my country. They probably would jack up the price. It's more than the value is supposed to be probably in Libya or in Europe. For uncirculated price, we pay more than that probably. So sometimes when we collect, you have to look at your own budget. Like any hobbies, you have to see your budget. My budget today, I was targeting not to spend more than a 50, let's say 50 ringgit, in Malaysia ringgit. So I might keep my budget to that, and of course I find something good in quality with the reasonable price, and something that I don't have, or something that I need to put in a set or collection. Libya is one of those that I'm not putting up as a priority in my collection, but I do have a couple of Libya's banknotes, so I need to have a chronology of collecting my set, as my said in my previous video, how I collect, how I strategize in my collection. There are a few ways. So for Libya is collecting the latest earliest series, complete in one set, then move down to the last series and go on and on. But since Libya, for me, I'm kind of like not putting up a high top priority. So anything that is to fill up the gap within a very reasonable price, I'll just get it. And the condition, well, among all the stacks, I'll just pick the best from the stacks. At that moment, the shop, I see that how many has this one. Technically, I have to look at it as identical. He has 3 pieces only 3. But the other two, I bought one of those three. The other two is actually 7A series. Uh, Slightly better than this one, but this is the only one with the 7 series. So going through and study through the catalog books and so forth, just a glimpse, less than 5 minutes, found out this is much older than the 7A series. Knowing the Pinnacle is the 7 series is the last print for during the era of Muammar Gaddafi, before the fall of Muammar Gaddafi, so this makes a sense to have in the collection. Whereas the post Muammar Gaddafi series, they are much more cheaper according to the catalog books. It's much cheaper than the 7 series. So by making a decision, I get the 7 series one first. Cost me 15 ringgit, fraction of out of the 50 ringgit. Basically my budget is 50, so I bought this one for 15. So do I buy anything else? Nah, because there's nothing else that I would be interested to buy. If I buy something else, I have to start a new collection on that. That is my OCD kind of problem being a collector. So I keep my discipline in buying something that I have currently have exists, and try to continue from that point. Countries that I don't collect are quite in a range that I don't collect Laos, I don't collect Cambodia, I don't collect Myanmar, I don't collect Singapore. Well, if there's an opportunity comes in Singapore collection, I would get it. Philippines, I don't buy. Brunei, absolutely not, because I don't have a firm position to start collecting that. I do have their small denomination, here and there, Singapore, Filipino pesos, a gift from dealers for the Burmese banknotes, Vietnam banknotes. I've have from my parents who went there, including Cambodia. My parents went there, so I don't interested in buying them to collect the older series. I think they're very interesting, especially in China. They're quite interesting because their printing system similar to the French, and the color, the vibrant colors are very French. But I have not focused or interest to collect those. I try to sidelight them on that. Libya is slightly higher than the countries that I just mentioned, because I do have a collection of the set, so I tend to try to collect if they do occur cheap and vibrant color like this. So yeah, to me, that's how I collect. My priority in collecting, seriously collecting banknotes, countries like Japan, the Japanese banknotes, China banknotes, especially during the Republic times and also early People's Republic era. Imperial, forget it. I don't have any money, financial capability to buy or search for imperial times of China. Those were fortune, I would say. American banknotes, some of those banknotes that are viably cheap, I'm okay, but don't expect me getting something like the banknotes that is like $1,000, $5,000, or $10,000 banknotes. Those are ridiculous price. Or the national bank, the earlier days banknotes in high denominations. Forget it. I just simply can't reach that position at the moment. But I love to, but I may not be able to. Probably in my lifetime to complete the set. But bits and there in America, small denominations, yeah, pretty much I would do that for America, banknotes. And yeah, I do try and buy some American banknotes that my partner likes. She loves American banknotes, so I tend to try to buy as a gift for her, as an investment for her, and probably to enjoy collection, something like that. But my most adored that I would try to complete the set would be the Japanese banknotes. Most of the modern banknotes, the Japanese, after the post-war, I do have them. I do collect them quite religiously, like the color of the serial numbers or the single prefix and double prefix, and some people would say I do collect them. I also do have the 2,000 yen and so forth. I do have during the wartime in the mainland Japan. Sorry, the mainland Japan is using, and so forth. So I quite diligently collect. So I won't be saying diligent. I would just say that my main focus. So anytime I'm looking for banknotes, I will always search three countries first: Japan, China, and United States of America. Then the secondary ones like Korea, Russia, and Malaysia, United Kingdom, Germany, yeah, and Australia as my secondary countries to look for my secondary search for my collection. Now, it depends, some people how they want to collect. So yeah, today that's just all I have. I bought quite short, simple, sweet. Only one banknote I bought today. To be honest, personally, in my view, Libya's banknotes, like this, the pattern, the Arabic words, I love how they design the banknote. It looks very motifly very beautiful. Very very beautiful. The color wise is very beautiful. Another one that is very beautiful that I'm quite attracted to is the new Morocco banknotes. Morocco's new series banknotes. They are very beautiful. I actually like it, and they actually did it in a very in a portrait system rather than a landscape system of printing the banknotes. So there's another hit of great things in Libya. In Morocco. But the Arabic countries, to be honest, I really love how they design their banknotes. Yeah, Libya is one of those. Like this one, for example. Although it's low in value, it's not rare. It's quite common. 5 dinar is quite common. The print numbers are quite high. I can get it. Of course, a lot of people say you can get it. It's cheap. Why don't you get it in uncirculated? Again, Libya is not one of my main priorities to collect, so I just only buy when the opportunity comes. If I'm very serious, like want to collect it, for example, like Japan, I would diligently go to eBay or online bidding auction to get it. Even though I can't get the auction house that sells Japanese banknotes here in my country, I would diligently go to like auction like in Europe, online bidding. I might probably go heritage auction just to find the Japanese banknote that I wanted to, and I'll pay that premium in USD or Euro. There is one auction I do online I wanted to approach would be directly from Japan, the Ginza auction house. They had some of the banknotes that I'm looking for, but a lot of it is selling in the auction is quite expensive because they're selling solid numbers. A lot of the people that are in auction house in Japan, they're selling solid numbers. Numbers do play a lot of things in Japan. I would say that the numbers do play a lot compared to United States auction house, where they sell those higher denomination or rare items in auction. I think the auction house have different systems, because the buyers and sellers environment is different. And I found that Japan's auction house, they don't sell a lot of those rare items. They sell a lot of those items that are rare is because of the serial numbers, lucky or solid numbers and so forth. So yeah, this is one reason I like to collect this note. It just attracts me. I love this banknote, to be honest. So probably the next one that I would buy in the future would be the 5 dinar 7A series. Probably next week or 2 weeks again. I'm still waiting for my for my 2 banknotes that I sent out for grading to PMG. I'm still waiting for a return in three months time or 4 months time. So it's already past if I'm not mistaken, 3 months just recently. So I'll probably expect to get it back by next month, hopefully next month, or another extra month 2 months later. And another banknote that I also sent out is a US banknote. That one not because I want to grade it as a high quality, but to prove the auction house that their information is wrong. That's right. Some auction house have wrong information. When you look at it and observe the banknote that you are bidding, look closely on the details. Certain banknotes have details that plays a significant role. So that one I had is $10 USD. If I'm not mistaken, I forgot. It's a silver dollar or something. Um, Africa one. Yeah, it was in Africa. $10. And the significant thing about that is the information they put is different from what the banknote is. So I'm going to send it out to prove to them that this banknote is not what it seems. It's their mistake. And hopefully they will learn their lesson from that. Recently, there's an auction they had put up. I won't disclose their name of that. They had kind of a huge error, quite a big blunder. But they actually, before the auction was started, about a few days back before they started, I had tried to bicker with them through messaging and so forth. And finally, they realized that they had made a mistake. At least they acknowledged their mistake. This auction house they acknowledged, and they revised their 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 description to a correct description. Because if they still maintain that description, that is what they have put up, and the banknote image is actually not exactly what the description is, the price the price range is so different. Whatever they describe is a banknote that is considered to be $10,000 in face value. Sorry, not face value, it's value, because it was extremely rare banknote. But without that small information different change, the banknote is different from just one alphabet or one word. I believe it was a series is different, one series is different number. Then it becomes $50. From $10,000 to become $50 is a very different. So some auction house needs to be careful when they put up the image of the object must reflect exactly the same as what is going to describe, because the reputation of an auction house is how much honesty and detailed description of their item. It has to be accurate, it has to be verified that the item is genuine. What the most major auction house must do is to identify the item whether they are genuine or fake or counterfeit. Because people risk their money, I won't say life, risk their capital. Some of them they go to the auction house to buy items for investment, to ensure that they are verified genuine. That's the most important thing that the auction house must do first. Identify the item is verified as genuine, not counterfeit, not fake. Then, when they put those items in auction, the description of the item must be very clear and precise. That becomes the condition to create a good reputation of an auction house. Then you are able to increase your premium for the auction house premium. The commission will be higher. Shows that the trust is reliable. So there are a lot of auction houses across the world, across the countries, I could say. But the most important thing is I make sure it's genuine, number one. Number two, make sure the details are right. You don't want to mislead the buyers or investors or any bidders a different path. So I've got this 10 USD that I purchased described wrongly and described actually wrongly, but I've already won the bid. So I challenge them, can you prove it and verify it is true? Because the description you've written is different from what you are saying. Let the PMG, a third party, to verify whether it is true or not. The banknote is genuine or fake. If it's true, then you're done. The problem is that banknote. I don't think they're able to identify that banknote is uh, being tampered. Yeah, the note is being tampered because that year plus an A. Most of the American series they had, it was they have an A at the back. A at the back means it's very common. Without the A on that year series, is much more valuable. They were thousands of dollars. So that's the thing that I'm being controversial with them and trying to challenge them to prove that it is what it is. Somebody has tempered it, as I would say. Somebody has tempered the banknote, removed the A so it becomes non-A to sell it in a higher price. Because I do my own research from that photo, and I find that if somebody has tempered it, but the auction house have verified it is genuine, it's not tempered. So, okay, prove it. I asked them to prove it. I paid them. I won the bid. I won about 35 euros from it. So okay, it's a good price. If I was right, they would give me a free of charge of the grading, and they'll deliver it to me free of charge. If I'm wrong, fine. I'll pay for the grading fee and pay for the delivery charges. Fair enough. So sometimes, being doing auction house. So yeah, at this moment I didn't buy so much stuff from my dealers because there are not many items out there are selling. And the most anticipated, I'm very excited to come is my delivery from my auctions that I bid and won. I've already paid them, so now waiting for them to deliver to my doorstep, and hopefully by then I can show you the banknotes they have. They're quite interesting. They're quite say rare, so it will be very interesting to present to share the banknotes that I just won, and hopefully you'll like it. I will certainly love it because I paid for it. Definitely, I'll love it. And most of those banknotes is something that I've been looking for. Very difficult to find. Very hard to fill my collections slots, I would say, because most of them are not able. I'm not able to find it in my local stores or local flea markets because those notes are quite difficult to find, and that's where auction house plays a big role. They will sort. There are sellers who are selling those banknotes that you want. Somebody is willing to sell it. That's the best part, I would say. Somebody's willing to sell it. So to me, when you reach to the point that you have gathered all the banknotes that you can buy from a dealer or from the local auction house, sometimes you need to expand overseas. Some collectors, they don't buy auction house, but they go to the country and find a dealer over there to buy it from them, or asking a dealer here in a local country or a local town. They'll try and help you, assist with their vast connection to those countries to find the notes for you. Of course, you pay a little premium to them. So all I could say is that's the journey that I am experiencing right now. Okay, that's it for today. That's not much, I would say, actually. So only one banknote today I bought. A lot of whole long stories that I can talk about. None related about your numismatic collection. So I'd like to say thank you very much, and do subscribe if you like. If you have any questions, please just drop me questions or any comments, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.